Hello and welcome everyone. This time we don't have any Wintersplit games, but what we instead have is we're going to have a CSD stream match. It is going to be between Topaz and Hillerød Esports Academy. I'm Kachka, and with me tonight is Nightstar.
Hello, and I've never seen either of these teams before, so I'm very excited just to see what kind of gameplay we're going to be seeing tonight.
Definitely. I mean, Topaz technically they are playing in the SRG league, though we haven't seen that much of them in their current iteration. Hillerød Esports Academy, I haven't really seen them before, so hopefully it is going to be an excited match. Just from some, background research that I've been doing before the game, Topaz are currently sitting undefeated at the end of their second game. So it's not a lot in the CSD, but they have won 2 of their series, 2-0, so they are looking pretty strong.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a good start to any season. Of course, it's still early on in the season, so it's not really like if you're 0-2, it's not really a backbreaker. But of course, 2-0, much more preferred than the 0-2. And I mean, some of these champ pools, I just want to bring some attention to some of the champ pools. Like some of these champions are going to be very exciting to watch. A lot of Draven being played by the AD carries, a lot of Thresh being played by the supports. So we could see a lot of action in these games.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about the Draven, the Thresh. If any of those champions go through and they are prioritized by either of those teams, high kill threat bot lanes is something that could definitely be on the table, something always worth watching, and we'll see if that happens. Also throwing around the champions, I think it's important to mention King Xerath for Topaz. As his nickname suggests, he plays a lot of Xerath, so most likely a ban or picked first by Topaz if it's left open.
Yeah, I don't know if the side of Hillerød are going to be taken away necessarily, just because it can be a difficult champion to play if you don't have all those games. So maybe probably just some sort of ban there. Maybe they have some sort of really special counter pick as well, just because Xerath can have a lot of trouble during the lane phase before he gets a few levels to be able to just one-shot waves. So definitely can get collapsed upon early on.
Yeah, that's something that we'll need to watch in the draft, as I believe the teams, they are slowly getting ready, so we should be approaching that pick and ban. Something to notice is that Hillerød Esports Academy, they are on the blue side, whereas Serenity Gaming Topaz, they are on the red side. So Hillerød, they get the privilege of the first pick if they want to utilize it. Then, it's always interesting to see, especially in this meta, if you can get yourself a strong, maybe even flex pick in that first rotation, it can be of great value.
Yeah, and I mean, the current meta is you want to make your first couple of picks, mostly flex picks, just to guarantee yourself a really good matchup in one of these solo lanes. We'll see if it ends up playing out for these teams, as we do see immediately the Xerath ban.
Yeah, I mean, King Xerath, he's got something ridiculous, like 350 games already on this champion alone, this season alone. So he definitely has more than enough experience. Now Draven also taken off, as both AD carries do like to play it from time to time. Another AD that I'm looking at is Kai'Sa, most likely first pick worthy champion if not banned away.
Yeah, Draven, Kai'Sa, definitely 2 champions that both of these AD carries love to get their hands on. Unfortunately, Draven will not be one of those, but at the same time, you take out the Ryze, one of the big flex champions in the mid and top lane. Irelia also one of those picks as well. And the Malzahar is a little bit of an interesting ban for those who don't know the teams, but Pox actually plays a fair amount of Malzahar up in the top lane, which is something we don't see too often.
Yeah, we do know now Akali is going to be that first pick. We mentioned the flexes, and it is one of those champions. Could go both into top lane, could go into the mid lane. So we'll see where that will be directed. Definitely a strong one to get on your roster early on, though.
Yeah, and the Akali pick right now is probably the strongest assassin that can be flexed to either role. Most assassins you typically see just stuck in that mid lane, but Akali, one of those champions that you can throw into the top lane, and has so much mobility that you do have team fight presence. Whereas some assassins, you are a little bit tunneled in on your first rotation of spells, and you're kind of just stuck there. Not really meaningful afterwards after using your rotation, but Akali will stay useful throughout a team fight, as we do see the Kai'Sa and Rek'Sai takeaways.
Yeah, we definitely do. Kai'Sa is going to be going over to Mikkel, and Rek'Sai for Genialiax, one of his more played champions as well. Gragas, though, it is locked in for the side of Hillerød Esports Academy. Most likely going into the jungle position. I would not really suspect him going anywhere else.
Yeah, Gragas, of course, is still a possible flex, so Hillerød have kept their options open here with at least the first 2 picks, and even the 3rd pick if they do lock in this Nautilus. So a lot of rotating potential for this lineup on Hillerød, and we see the Morgana get instantly locked in by the side of Topaz.
And I do like to see that because there's a lot of crowd control, and as well as the AP burst from Akali. Mind you, Black Shield will not deny all of it, but if you can block the crucial pass, it will be good enough, as well as just denying the CC bots that Nautilus and Gragas could be in combination. So Topaz definitely locking themselves a powerful pick. Once again, could be played mid lane, could be played bot lane. I would suspect it is most likely going to go into that support position. And now in the second phase of ban, Zed is going to be the first one to be taken off.
Yeah, and I'm really curious if they indeed throw that Morgana into that support role, just because there's so much AP damage on the side of Hillerød, that Black Shield isn't going to last long at all. And if they throw it to the mid lane, of course, with the AP scaling on the Black Shield, you are going to be able to get larger Black Shields. However, your damage output is going to be a little bit more limited as far as magic damage goes. It's just a matter of what Topaz actually want to do with this lineup.
Yeah, because I mean, you've got the Kai'Sa, you've got the carry jungler, something that Genialiac definitely likes to play, something that he's pretty strong on if he can find those early ganks. Now, the question that she poses is, where do you want to take that composition? Do you want to go for the split push? Do you want to go for the snowball? Do you maybe even want to go for the team fights? Kennen and Nico both now removed by Hillerød Esports Academy. I believe that Llama definitely, he can play Kennen pretty well. Not entirely sure if he does play the Nico in the top lane, but removing some of those maybe more team fight oriented champions.
Yeah, and I mean, Nico does have a very oppressive play style, especially in these solo lanes, being able to just auto and get those procs off. You can go the AD build still, or the AP build. King Xerath playing a lot of Nico, and I think at this point, if you know that King Xerath is still looking for a mid lane champion, go ahead and just ban out his next most played champion, which would be that Nico.
Yeah, I think it does make a lot of sense. Ergot is going to be going to top lane in hands of the hands of Llama now, with Vayne locked in and Shen. That is such a scary composition if he will ever get to the late game, because the amount of frontline they have, plus the Vayne damage, I just don't want to be playing against that.
Yeah, they've got a good amount of scaling here, and this brand hover is very exciting, but it will turn into a Braum. So first 3 letters the same, but completely different champion, you might say.
Definitely a different champion. So that means that Morgana is going to be going over to King Xerath in this middle lane. He's going to be going against Sloth's Akali. Now that both rosters are finalized, I feel like this is one of those games where we could be seeing maybe a bit more late game shift, but the junglers, they have the tools to make the things happen in the lanes.
Yeah, and both of these junglers have early ganking tools. Gragas not known for his pre-level 4 ganks, but still can pull them off to decent success. And it just gets better once he has the Predator boots after level 4. And Rek'Sai, well, we all seen what Rek'Sai can do in the pro scene, so it's not a surprise if we see this Rek'Sai pick really just start popping off. However, for the side of Topaz, what I'm looking at is this mid lane is going to be mostly a farm fest turned into a rotational fest. It's mostly combining with your jungler to make these roams to the side lanes, whether or not it's for Meister Llama in the top lane on the Urgot, or for this bot lane, the Kai'Sa Braum, getting this Kai'Sa going.
Alright, so let's maybe look at the win conditions. First for the Topaz, then we'll focus on the other team. So we talked about getting the Kai'Sa going, maybe Kings are trying to get priority in the mid lane. But what is really their win condition? What do they want to be playing through to ensure that they can take this game 1?
It really comes down to getting maximum priority in this mid lane. Akali, sure, she can push out, but not early on. Not until she hits that Gunblade breakpoint to the level, I think level 9 breakpoint as well, just being able to clear out the backline. And before then, Morgana's wave clear is much higher than the Akali, so it's all about unlocking this Morgana to move around the map with the Rek'Sai, and the ganks with the black shield on the Rek'Sai mean that Rek'Sai can pretty much find whatever engage she wants.
Alright, however, I look at the other side, I do see a Shen. So at level 6, Hillerød, they definitely have the ways to counteract that. So what is it that they need to do in this early game to ensure that Topaz cannot get Mikkel ahead?
For Hillerød, it's all about enduring the first couple of levels. You want to get through to that level 6 breakpoint at least. Once you get that extra CC, extra layers of protection from the Shen ultimate. And this composition scales incredibly well. You have the Akali who can get reliably into the backline and put out a reliable amounts of damage, and then you have the Vayne, who we've all seen Vaynes before. Once she hits those 3-4 item breakpoints, she just absolutely tears apart champions. And with the protection of the Shen, the Gragas just CC layering with the Nautilus, this is a very scary composition headed towards the later portions of the game.
Alright, and I mean, I think that describes it pretty well, what we are expecting to see from both of those teams. We are still in the spectator delay. It will still take us about a minute and probably more to load into the actual game. Just a reminder, Topaz still in the CSD. They haven't dropped a game here. They aren't that far behind, I believe. Let me actually just confirm that they are sitting on 2 or 3 points, winning 1 series and losing 1. Now I just need to see how much. So they aren't that bad. Definitely, if they can take the win today against Topaz, it will be pretty good for them going forward.
Yeah, picking up any win that you can find, definitely going to be beneficial moving forward into the season. And this is Challenger, so a lot rides on being able to get higher up into the standings, right? And you can promote into the upper leagues, and that always brings an increased amount of fame and increased amount of potential in being able to get picked up by some other team here. And both of these teams, so I mean, you've got a good start. It's just about carrying through.
Yeah, definitely. We are now going to be loading into this game. So I think everything that needed to be said has been said. We expect some focus to be put around this bot side here, though, Esport Academy. They probably just want to get their Vayne to her item power spikes. One line that I could be looking at. If they want to get ahead, and sorry, if they manage to get ahead, that Akali in the mid lane can become a big threat. The problem is you are into Morgana, which is a pretty safe wave clear lane.
Yeah, it will be pretty safe for King Xerath in this mid lane. Also has the Glacial Augment, which is going to help considerably given the fact that they don't have too much primary initiation on this squad, but they have a lot of pick potential with the Rek'Sai, with the Urgot, with the Braum. So it's incredibly dangerous later on in the game if the side of Hillerød aren't really prepared with their vision coverage. But at the same time, they've got a good amount of pick themselves with the Nautilus and the Gragas here, as we see mirrored starts from both teams.
Yeah, they are just going to go into the respective jungles. I believe that it will be Topaz going over to the bot side, Hillerød invading in this top side. I'm still waiting to load in the game. Fortunately, not a lot of action happening just yet, so I can see it all on the stream. If anything happens, do please interrupt me. So, yeah, it looked to be an exciting level 1, but the teams just miss each other, and yeah, we're just not gonna get any action before the minions spawn.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Hillerød, they go for the continued deep invade, whereas the side of Topaz, they actually cut their invade short. They just go into that tri-bush and then they go straight back into their own lane. So a little bit disappointing as far as, getting the maximum amount of information. But Hillerød, they're going to be very happy with their start as they get knowledge of where Rek'Sai is starting. And that's going to help out the Gragas quite a bit, given the fact that Gragas cannot really fight up against the Rek'Sai early on.
And yesterday I've been playing some games with Gorange, one of the supports playing in the SRG League, and the thing he talked about was that one subtle ward, it is going to be, I'm just gonna share because that's like the only piece of macro knowledge that I actually have. It is that ward near the Raptor camp that you see in the top side placed for Hillerød. It literally gives you the entire information you need to know about any early game pathing. No matter what Junianiak does, where he starts, that ward will give Hillerød Esports information about where he started and where he's heading to.
Yeah, it's such a powerful ward there, and I mean, there are some other ones that can cover as well. But definitely the Raptor one is probably the one that covers the most ground there. Just because it covers the Raptor camp, which is probably one of the more important camps to take if you are a jungler, just because there's so much EXP loaded into that camp. Also, the Krug camp, another notable one. But when you have wards that cover those, it really gets you a lot of information because those are priority camps. And if they're not showing on that, then it gives the opportunity for your jungler to take away that EXP for themselves.
And now Junianiak sticking around the ball lane, going in for this Cuddle, Crab, God Send Me, and Giga Shock. They're just going to be backing out. They still are doing pretty well in this laning phase, considering it is a Vayne. God Send Me has a very, very slight CSD, but it is much better than any sort of potential deficit in this situation. Just takes a bit of poke through the Winter's Bite and the Void Seeker, as now Shafty, looking for maybe some openings in the top side, will be sticking around in the jungle.
Yeah, he'll stick around in the jungle. We've got a little bit of an invade coming out from Shafty, as you mentioned before. So he's going to get a lot of safety for this Shen pick early on. And, I mean, Llama on this Urgot can do some pretty disgusting things to a Shen early on. But once you get a few of those tank items, then Shen will be able to really endure and maybe even kind of turn around this Urgot lane. Until Urgot, of course, hits that level 9 breakpoint and gets level 13 even more so, just because of how short of a cooldown those shotgun knees are at level 13.
Shafty is sticking around. He did use the body slam to get over the wall to make sure that Llama did not see him take that aggressive position. And now look, as Llama goes forward in the lane, Shafty could be looking for a gank, could be looking to try and secure that first blood, put that Ergo behind if he can find it. But I think Llama might have a feeling of what is going on. That's a level 5 Ergo. There is the body slam to knock up into the cat. The flash away is going to be burned by Llama. I believe he didn't get quite over the wall, but he will still be able to survive.
Yeah, flashing into the wall there, a little bit unfortunate, but the side of Hillerød will indeed back off, so he gets to hold on to his life. That's probably the most important result of that gank, and it is still a summoner advantage.
And now Ahmed Ronaldo going aggressive in the ball lane. God Send Me has to flash out as the concussive blows were stacking up, and Mikkel doing a pretty good job of just aggressively positioning himself on that Kai'Sa, making sure that there is pressure applied to this Vayne pick.
And this Vayne is a little bit down in the CS department, but with the pressure of the Braum pressure has been pretty good here. Just being able to take advantage of level up timings of the wave position, and it's been a really good lane phase from the Topaz bot lane so far.
And King Zerath also getting a lot of chip damage onto Sloth, and just the zoning with the Binding and with the Tormented Soil means that he is now sitting at roughly one wave worth of CS lead in this mid lane on the Morgana, which is always good to see. If you are against an Akali, a snowball matchup, then, I mean, that's just great news.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, in addition, with this Glacial Augment, you're going to be able to do a lot of stuff for your team. Even when the Kali goes into the Shroud, you can just throw the Super Soaker active straight into that Shroud. And then the slow is no joke on that. And that will at least get you a pretty good vision of the Kali.
Now the Dragon is going to be commenced by Topaz. Genialniak sticking around on this one. It is an Infernal. The complete vision control in the bot side river means it is going to be a free secure for Topaz, though Shafty is going to respond with an invade of his own.
Yeah, Shafty just going to trade out for that top lane pressure, and at this point you're starting to look at maybe your level 6 breakpoints now. Shafty's still level 4, but his solo laners are level 6. Maybe we're looking at some sort of aggressive play come out from Sloth with that ultimate, the Kali ultimate, in tandem with the Shen, the double ninja combination dive back into that back line. But play might be happening up into this top lane again.
Yeah, Llama doesn't have the flash. The Predator is on the dash, the knock-up, and Llama is going to get rooted in place as First Blood is on the cards, and it will be picked up by Pask.
And Pask getting that First Blood is going to be a huge boon to him. He's going to be able to just continue to trade out against this Urgot. We saw a couple of trades there. Urgot does do
Giga Shock taking so much damage, forces the flash and the heal from
nice pin.
God sent me, but as well you mentioned it, condemn onto Ahmed Ronaldo, gets a nice trade back. Mikkel looking for
Level
the follow-up. That's a flash ignite. Mikkel just getting the kill in this ball lane. There was also some fighting in the middle lane, but in the end no one dies there. The kill for the AD carry of Topaz is going to be picked up.
Yeah, and with level 6 on the Kaisa and the Braum, they could possibly look for this dive. It is a level 6 hit by Giga Shock, so that's going to provide a lot more safety for this Nautilus pick. And because of that, I think the side of Topaz, probably the most convincing point there to just back off.
Yeah, Mikkel and Ahmed Ronaldo, they've been playing this lane pretty well. As Van is saying in the chat, I'm also really impressed. The CS pressure now 20 in the lead for Mikkel. That kill as well was just so well played with all the summoners that were unavailable for the bot lane of Hillerød Esports. There just wasn't a lot that Godsemi and Gigashot could have done, and Mikkel has punished them for it.
Yeah, not only that, but Ahmed, he's been incredibly aggressive in his lane positioning, just trying to deny every single farm away from Godsent. And I mean, he's been doing a really good job. He's been the main catalyst, I would say, and why this Kaisa has this 12 CS advantage.
You've got a BF Sword and Berserker Greaves. That is definitely a lot of damage that you could unleash onto Godsend or even Giga Shock if they do not suspect it. So watch out for any trades in the bot lane. And now with this Kaisa being this far ahead, I would just expect Topaz to get full control of this bot side vision, which is why Genialniak is sticking around, clearing out all those wards.
Yeah, and right now we see a big trade as far as where the jungle pressure is. We see for Topaz, it is in this bottom side. Although now Hillerød, maybe they're looking to put some attention into the bot lane themselves. But it is a little bit of an uphill battle here. They are down 20 CS. If this gank in the bot lane goes wrong, then things go south very quickly.
Yeah, Ahmed Ronaldo just sticking around in the ball lane in the Stribish, looking to maybe get that ward. Shafty now spending a lot of time. That's a good binding onto Sloth. It's going to chunk him significantly. The Soul Shackles, will they get a second cast? No, King Zerath instead loses so much HP. He has to flash out, and Sloth just picks up this solo kill in the mid lane.
And that's just an overextension coming out from King Zerath there. Thought he had the kill. He's been landing these binds pretty darn well, but just got a little bit too eager with that last bind and gets heavily punished, and that might be the turnaround that Sloth needs to really get back into this lane.
Yeah, picking up that kill, he's still behind in CS, but it will make things better now, and they will make it better for the Hillerød as a whole team. They are marginally behind, about 500 gold at 11 minutes, which is not a huge deficit, but if you can work back from it, if you can get kills onto Sloth, the Akali, the champion we mentioned in the champ select, that if it gets rolling, it will be a threat for Topaz, then that is one way to make sure that the Mikkel just doesn't run away with this entire game.
Yeah. At the same time, ooh, bind does miss.
Yeah, good dodge away from the bind by Sloth. He gets a bit of chunk damage onto King Xerath, as now Shafty looking for an opportunity to get a gank down in this bottom lane. Genialniak is going to be stinging around a Sloth. Could be engaged upon. Here comes up with the rattle, and Mikkel, that's a good cast. Brings Braum back into the middle of everything. The Unbreakable is going to go, but Mikkel just rooted, and Pax picks up the first kill. The Void Rush coming out from Genialniak. He wants to get a kill back, but look at his HP just melt. Sloth takes him down. Ahmed Ronaldo has to run away. That is a lot of stats. Naman now in the middle of everything. He's trying to get some kills back. King Xerath is going to get one, but Hillerød, they are turning this fight around. Sloth jumping forward with the perfect execution, but the Sloths coming in clutch. They're going to save Ahmed Ronaldo, and Hillerød pick up 3. That is a good binding, and a shutdown picked up by Ahmed Ronaldo.
And Sloth just not enough dashes there. Can't get himself at the end of that, but Hillerød, they're going to be very, very happy with that result. They grab themselves, I believe, 3 kills along with that Mountain Dragon. A huge advantage going over for them, and it really just started out with Mikkel just getting caught out there. Thought they had the collapse, but with the late collapse from the bot lane, it actually pincered off Mikkel and Ahmed, and that spelled pretty much the end of that fight, as most of this gold is on Mikkel.
Yeah, definitely, and now that gun blade going over to Sloth's inventory. Topaz, they are still ahead in gold. Important to keep that in mind after this fight. The game isn't over for them. They are still in charge, but now with that additional burst on your mid laner, Hillerød, they are definitely much more scary.
Yeah, and we see a little bit of a tank battle up at the top side, but one of the big things that we did mention early on during the champ select is that King Xerath, he's not that much of a magic damage threat, so if it does get later on into the game, it's going to be a little bit... Ooh, we see some action down in this top lane.
Yeah, double tone is going to connect by Pask. However, here comes Genialniak over the wall. He gets the gold of Shafty. Slow jumping over into the middle of the fight with that perfect execution. The Void Rush coming through, trying to get the kill onto Pask. Slow going to get rooted up and stunned with those soul shackles, as King Xerath is going to take care of him. Giga Show just cut down, and Topaz find 3.
And these AD carries also want to go head to head, but with all the action happening in the top lane, they will end up backing off, and that was a huge skirmish win for the side of SRG Topaz. They're looking to take down this top lane tower.
They will be able to secure it. That's now 2,000 gold lead, as Godsending gets a lot of damage by the killer instinct from Mikkel. He just finishes off this solo kill, styling onto this AD carry of Hillerød.
Yeah, and the 1v1 kill, just... God sent me, he gets sent back to God right in that instant there. As the side of Topaz, they just keep finding some of these nice little skirmishes here. And they're just going to continue to extend their gold lead. But it is still on that timer.
Yeah, you've got the Vayne, you've got the front line that is going to be very, very big, and this Gragas, he's going to be itemizing more into AP, which means that his damage is not to be overlooked as well. So Hillerød, they definitely always can play for the scaling. The question to you that I have is Topaz going to be falling flat on their face in the late game, or are they still going to be able to be successful there?
Well, the big thing is that the Shen is going to be incredibly tanky later on. Ooh, it might be a catch.
Yeah, Gigashog is just going to drop all the CC committed as the Binding finds onto God Send Me. It just dies where he stands.
Yeah, and I mean, he had no choice but to die where he stood because he just got bound forever. That damage is also a little bit surprising coming out from the bind of the Morgana. Of course, the pool is also going to do a little more damage than you expect, right? Because it is a mid lane Morgana rather than that support Morgana, but it's still going to be on the lower end of mages in the mid lane. That's something we just have to keep track of as the game moves forwards here. But Rek'Sai will have that Scuttle Crab stolen away, and that's unfortunate, but a nice little takeaway for Shafty.
Yeah, very much. And I mean, Kingstar does have 200 AP, he does have some magic penetration, and God Send Me does not stack any MR, which means that his effective magic resist when he gets damage dealt by King's Wrath is 15. So I think the damage there kind of might be explained by that, but still it was a lot and kind of did catch him out of, in surprise. It definitely caught me in a surprise, but I mean, hey, that's what happens when you have a 2-1-5 Morgana. Even though it's not your super high burst assassin mid laner, definitely can kill you.
Yeah, and now we've hit the double active items for the Morgana as well. So this is the strongest, I would say, Morgana gets as far as impact goes, until of course you get that Zhonya's. But then even then, Zhonya's is mostly used in tandem with that flash, giving that flash chains off. That's going to be a big power point as far as that goes. But with these two items, you have so much cash potential.
King Zera, he just deletes Shafty. That is the first kill of the fight. Slot still in that shroud, looking for potential openings. Does land the shuriken flip onto Genialic as Man United has been caused by a pass. Here comes Lava. He's trying to get the flank, but instead gets taunted up. He's gonna lose HP so fast. The ignite is down as God Enemy tries to get in the DPS on that vein. He does have the Blade of the Ruined King, but the damage not just yet coming through. Topaz just find one kill. They will be looking for that bot lane tower.
Yeah, the spot lane tower is super low, but it does look like they might want to rotate over for this dragon take. And with the amount of control they have right here, they should be able to secure it for themselves and even up the Mountain Dragon score line here. And they will be able to secure that. Mikhail, he wants more.
Yeah, Apent Ronaldo looking for a for a Winter's Bite, I should say, onto Gigashock. Doesn't find it. In the end, the Moby Boots on Nautilus providing a lot of movement speed. But 18 minutes in, Topaz, they are 5,500 gold in the lead.
Yeah, the gold lead is going to be really big for the side of Topaz here. They really need to just continue to accelerate, and they have so much pick potential. As long as they continue to find the picks, it shouldn't be a big issue, although Rek'Sai might be a little bit far out there.
And yeah, not much action as God Send Me, Gigashock and Pask, they are all looking for this bot lane tower. They want to get some objectives for Hillerød because so far they do not stand on any towers whatsoever. Ahmed Ronaldo stepping forward, throws out the Winter's Bite, connects onto Gigashot as the Void Seeker finds God Send Me. And Topaz, they are positioning very aggressively. They want to look for the picks, they want to look for the fights because they will win pretty much any single fight they pick. Right out here comes the Twin Shadows, the slow zone pass is just rooted up. King's Wrath on a rampage. That is one kill going over to Topaz, one tower. They will be looking for the second.
Yeah, I really have to question the decision making coming out from Hillerød Academy here as they try and disengage the situation, but the collapse is just too fierce.
Yeah, Genialic flash, knock up over that wall. He forces the flash away from Shafty. Topaz get the second tower in this bottom lane, extending their goal lead even bigger. And I think that just shows why they haven't really dropped a game in the CSD just yet.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have Sloth in that top side. There's no need to overstay in that bottom lane. There's no need to overextend, put yourself at risk, because you are getting farm on this incredibly strong Akali. And once this Akali does get online, she does a lot for you. There's no need to force the issue at this stage in the game, especially since you are the better scaling composition.
Yeah, you've got the Vayne, you've got the Akali, no real need to be in hurry. Though, I am looking at the Kai'Sa, I don't think it really falls off. If you are Mikkel, you will be able to have the impact throughout the game. But I do agree, God Send Me is the... I mean, yeah, he's just gonna cut through everyone, and then Sloth, once he gets his items and the big front line for Hillerød, will do them wonders if played around properly. So we are 21 minutes in. The Baron is up for already 1 minute. So far, neither of those teams really setting up too much vision. It seems that Topaz, they just want to play around the pressure that they have instead of going in and setting up those wards meticulously.
Yeah, and I mean, vision has to be a key point here now that you've hit 20 minutes into the game. Baron is up and available. You want to be able to secure vision in that area, but also generate picks. And for the side of Hillerød, it's much more important for them to set up vision coverage than it is for the side of Serenity Gaming Topaz, because you have King's Earth with the Twin Shadows, with the GLP, and he can pseudo scout with his actives here, trying to find if people are in those bushes, if they can pick them out as well. So the tools on the side of Topaz, they're a little bit better than the side of Hillerød here.
Yeah, going over to Shafty, the jungler is just down, no way to escape, and that could be the Baron call if Topaz choose to go for it. Instead, they are fishing for Giga Shock. The Winter's Bite connects, he gets the dredge line into the wall, the slow zone as well. Yeah, he's just going to die. Llama gonna pick up the kill, and that will be the Baron call for Serenity Gaming Topaz.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a Giga Shock there, that he is just Giga dead, and they go ahead and grab this Baron buff, and that might be that. I don't want to quite say it, but it might spell the end of this game one very soon here.
Hey, we've got a 5-1-6 King Xerath on this Morgana. His bindings hurt so much. That's a 16-stack Magi. And if it wasn't bad enough, even if that's not enough to kill you, you still have Mikkel sitting on double items, just ready to join the fight at any opportunity he sees.
Yeah, it's really just the big power spike differences in these big carries. You look at Sloth and God Sent Me, the big carries for the side of Hillerød. You are still waiting for a second item on this Vayne, and you have 1.5 items on to the Akali, so she's at the point where she can take away some of the squishier members, namely the Kai'Sa or that Rek'Sai. But then you look on the side of Topaz, you have this incredibly powerful Morgana who's snowballed incredibly far. Ooh, they might just go for the collapse.
Death charge onto Llama. 3 members committed. They should be able to cut through. The question is, can Llama get anyone back? He's gonna get Shafty. Gets the kill, gets the fear, but he will not be able to get out. That's just a 1 vs 5. You don't win, but he makes it a 1-for-1. And look at the rest of Topaz. They are just running down the bot lane.
And they should be able to claim at least 1 Nexus Tower. They might even be able to look to end the game here. If they find 1 more pick, it should be the end of the game. And they are just going to disengage with the Twin Shadows. Another binding hits, and woo, the damage when you're that far ahead has to be respected for King's Earth. I mentioned, you know, Morgana does drop off, but that's, you know, in an even game later on into the game. But this is not an even game.
Not close to it. 10,000 gold in the lead for Topaz. King's Earth has got 500 AP together with those 2 Infernal Dragons. So his bindings are more than powerful. That was a Void Seeker for 1/3 of God Sent Me's HP. That just hurts. The second inhibitor falls down. Topaz able to pick that one up easily. They still have got the Baron, and yeah, I feel like this game is pretty much on a timer, but the timer is ticking for Hillerød Esports Academy, as you have to feel like it's not long for this game one.
Yeah, and it's if you're Hillerød and you're looking to get back in here, you just have to find any sort of way to get some vision down. At this point, with 2 waves of super minions, maybe it's less important because all the minions will be coming to you, and you don't have to overextend out of your base, but you just need a little bit of coverage if you do want to make an aggressive pick. Otherwise, you are kind of just waiting for the side of Topaz to just wander into your base and finish this game. Because it is a 3-item Kai'Sa. This Kai'Sa is absolutely terrifying. And I mean, the Veins finally hit those 2 items. Maybe this is that breakpoint the side of Hillerød are looking for.
And you know, you could be looking for picks if you are Hillerød, but the thing is, Topaz, they are going pretty much together with that one exception of Llama being alone in a silent, but even then, it ended up being a 1-for-1 and an inhibitor in favor of Topaz, so Hillerød, they don't have that many options. Twin Shadows come out, the slow zones drop, the Binding connects, and forces the cleanse from Sloth as the tower takes half of its HP in damage.
Yeah, and at this point, you know, you're behind. You're getting shoved in, and the big thing is you have no safe wave clear. You have the Akali trying to clear out some of these super minions, but if you're using it on the super minions, you can't get access into it.
Oh, that could be a big cask. Sloth trying to jump into the backline. He gets flipped back by Llama. That is a shutdown. Miko drops down. King's Draft is gonna die as well. As he's going to be picked up by God Send Me. Now the carries are dead for Topaz. Can't Hillerød pick up the fight? That's it up. God Send is still staying alive, still kiting back. And Hillerød, they are winning this fight. Genialiac resurrects out of that GA. Pumps down the Void Rush. Gets whacked back for himself. He's looking for the second one, but does not find it. And it's an ace in favor of Hillerød.
Yeah, Hillerød hold the line in their home base. They are able to pull out that team fight, and it's just deleting the carries over on the side of Topaz. It's finding King's Earth, it's finding Mikhail, and once you immediately, Llama, he hasn't quite been far enough ahead to really be that one-man carry terror. And I mean, Genial, he himself also not that far ahead. So if you are able to delete the big 2 carries, it definitely makes sense that they're able to win out on these team fights.
And we gotta praise the duo of Shafty and Sloth. Shafty throwing down the big cask to separate the team, and Sloth just dashing in, executing the right targets. Just so well played, and as he says, once you get rid of King's Wrath and Mikkel, there isn't actually that much that this Topaz lineup can provide. And we are nearing those 30 minutes. All the points that we talked about, the Vayne, the Akali, the big front line, they are becoming more relevant by the minute. That's the 3rd item now finished for God Sent Me.
Yeah, and those are some big shutdowns going over to the side of Hillerød there. And I mean, if we look at the gold in comparison, the only big gold differential comes through that jungle. And Shafty, I mean, he hasn't had a great game, but all he needs to do for this team is find the engage.
Yeah, and the Baron now has been secured. Shafty in this front line is going to get taken down. Gigashock with the binding. That's 2 members of Hillerød falling. Pask is next, gets a nice stone through the team, but is inevitably going to die. Godsemi has to flash away, and with the Baron buff with 3 kills going over to Topaz. Hillerød, they might not have what it takes. Topaz are looking to just run down this mid lane and finish this game 1.
Yeah, it just came down to they wanted to try and contest the objective, and it just wasn't an objective that they could contest without proper vision, and game 1 just goes over to the side of Topaz.
Yeah, 29 minutes in, they still pick up some kills just to pay their KDAs, but Topaz, they finish the game and are leading the series 1-0.
An incredibly dominant game number 1 coming out from the side of Topaz, even though they were down in kills a couple of times. It was just, as far as the macro play went, they were just that's suffocating, especially with this Morgana pick. I mentioned that the Morgana has to do a lot, and a lot she did in that mid lane up against that Akali, shutting down the Akali for most of that game, and then finding the picks outside of the lane phase.
Yeah, I do have to agree also, Ahmed Ronaldo on that. Braum doing so much good work, mostly in this laning phase, but then in the team fight also just making sure that the picks are secured, playing so well. And apart from that one floppy team fight in the top lane, Topaz, they were just playing such a clean game one.
Yeah, it was a very clean game, and I'm very curious on some of the damage charts. And yeah, King Xerath was the king of that game, outputting 24,000 points of damage.
That
A
that
lot.
is that is nearly as much. Okay, that is just slightly less than both Sloth and God Sent Me combined. So yeah, definitely he did a lot of work. But that is just the game out of this best of three. Topaz taking it in a pretty convincing fashion. But join us after a short break to see if Hillerød will take us to game three or if Topaz will continue their undefeated streak. Welcome back everyone, we are here after the break. We should be jumping into the picks and bans of the game 2 pretty soon. And Nystar, what do you think are some of the changes that we could be expecting?
For the side of Hillerød, I want to see a little bit more early game action as far as the laning goes. You drafted quite a few, I would say, slower lanes. You're not going to get wave priority in any of those lanes, and that really prevented Shafty from getting anything done in the first 15 to 20 minutes. And on the flip side, you saw that Rek'Sai pick really just take off and just control so much space in that game.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons why Hillerød, they found it difficult to win the game 1, and they just lost. They lost the lead early on, they lost the control of this game, and it would be good if this time they came into it and they actually tried to draft for that early game. That being said, I do like the fact that Shafty was going for those early game ganks, and the fact that he was just able to, find some of them, not really that many impactful ones, the one in the top lane that I remember. If he can just do more, then I feel like that's something that Hillerød could do to try and defeat Topaz.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely that possibility, right? We saw some flashes of brilliance like that tower or base hold towards the end of the game, but then they fumbled a little bit at the end right afterwards, looking to try and contest the Baron when they probably had no business to even try to look for vision in that area. But at the same time, Topaz, they executed very well. The Morgana pick in that mid lane was incredibly powerful. And then they just kind of held their own in some of the other lanes and allowed the Rek'Sai to do whatever she wanted to do.
And I think even if you're considering banning away Rek'Sai, that is a viable strategy for Hillerød, because it's one of better champions that Jinyanya can play. I'm not gonna say it's his best champion, but it is definitely up there. It is his most played in solo queue, and even though solo queue doesn't always translate into competitive play, I mean, we can all see that it pretty much does after that game 1. So I mean, if you want to ban that, then be my guest, Hillerød. I don't see why not just get yourself an even better jungle matchup and look to win this way.
Yeah, and I mean, Genio with that Rek'Sai, it's just such a powerful pick, right? And you have the kind of passive vision, passive knowledge of, hey, is there someone in the area? And Shafty tried to make things happen with his ganks, but you kind of soft know or have that soft knowledge of where he is. If he's not in that bot side, he's going to be up in the top side. And we saw that just the outpathing from the Rek'Sai, just continuously clearing out camps. And wherever Shafty went, he spent a lot of time in that top side, but there was never any camps for him to take in that top side, in that Rek'Sai jungle. And you just saw it really just bit him coming in a few minutes after, because he was just levels behind the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, just a bit of an update. We are waiting for one of the players to get back in, I would assume from being AFK, and get back into the order. So the draft should be starting in, I'm gonna say 2 minutes. That's my guess, though we don't actually know. So we're just going to be entertaining you with our potential discussion of what could be happening.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess some other things is also, if you're going to take the do the Rek'Sai ban, of course, what kind of bans are you looking to then drop? Because you don't want to drop the Xerath ban. I forget what other bans came out through the first phase. Xerath was banned. I don't know if Rise was banned by the side of Hillerød. but you give the potential of giving away one of those prize picks. Maybe you even let through the Xerath and ban the Morgana just because you want a different look. Of course, Morgana isn't going to get ganked as easily as a Xerath, so maybe you just want to give them the Xerath so you can just pour a lot of resources to try and shut it down.
You see, I really like to agree with you, though the thing is that last time I saw this guy play Xerath, it wasn't pretty for the opposing team. I'm just going to say that. I'm not entirely sure how it will go in this time, because of course CSD is slightly different level than the SRG League. I think we can all agree on that. But still, the point stands. This guy is pretty damn good at Xerath, and so Hillerød need to make that choice. As he said, do you want to allow the Morgana? Do you want to ban the Xerath? Do you want to ban both and allow the picks in other lanes to come through? Because that is also an option. Hillerød, they definitely have a lot of things to consider, and the fact that we are still waiting for one of the players for about 2 to 3 minutes, as we have been informed, is probably useful, because they get the time to just discuss it, see, okay, what do we want to play, how do we want to win this game, just have an idea, because I think that they had an idea last time, but it didn't work. So you go back to the drawing board and you say, alright, we're going to do this thing, or we might just stick with the same strategy and try to execute it differently.
Yeah, I feel like
we're getting information.
Oh.
Okay. So the curtains fell. Okay, so basically some IRL issues for what is the support of Topaz, let's say. So, you know, hopefully he'll be fixing that soon. Hopefully.
Yeah, the curtains have dropped upon this game and upon the support, apparently. So, you know, sometimes IRL gets in the way.
Yeah, it sometimes does. And yeah, we'll just be waiting. I believe he's back. Yeah, he has accepted the lobby invite, so we should be getting in soon, unless he just decided to get back in order so he doesn't have to do that later. We'll see. Okay, I see an R in the chat. I think that means ready. So we are ready to kick things off for that game too. Let's see how much of what we said will actually come true in this draft phase.
Yeah, it all comes down to what's going to be shown off into this into the server. King Xerath had an impressive game one, impressive and oppressive, and we'll have to see if he can continue to do so in this game number 2. Sloth, I mean, it really comes down to adaptation from the side of Hillerød, right? We saw that they kind of drafted a little bit lack of damage in that first rotation, and then when you lock in the Shen for your 4th pick, it forces you to really over-index into an AD carry that has that late game potential, that has tons of damage, and funneling into the vein ended up just exposing a lot of their lanes as far as finding a pressure that a lane that they could pressure.
Alright, so we are still waiting, apparently. I don't understand Danish. I can understand single words. Like the very simple ones like is, it, this. So yeah. But yeah, so apparently okay, so apparently the Hillerød's AD carry curtains also fell down, but it does look pretty comedic. So yeah.
Yeah, you know, maybe they're playing Jin and it's a curtain call, you know?
Maybe. Is that the secret strat? Are we gonna see Jin this game?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just okay. Never mind. There's a lot of banner going in the chat. We are getting some live translations from the producers, so you know. I don't think everything that is being said we want to relay onto the stream. So you know.
You know, some things, some banter, just there's a reason why we don't show lobby, you know.
And there it is, the draft. So this time it's SRG Topaz on this blue side, Hillerød Esports Academy on the red side. We'll see if any changes to the bans have occurred.
Yeah, and it really comes down to this ban phase. It will tell a lot about where Hillerød want to pivot as far as this game number 2 draft. They do ban out the Xerath once again, and I mean, fair point, you know. probably don't want to give a one trick his one trick, that's typically a given in the rules of solo queue. If you do know that Annie bot is on the other side, probably a good idea to ban Annie.
Yeah, now Rek'Sai removed from Genialniak. That's the one change in the bans. Topaz still sticking to their Silas, Malzahar. Don't quite remember what was their third ban. I think it could have been a Draven, if I'm correct. No, was Draven banned? I'm not sure.
I believe Draven was banned by Hillerød.
Oh yeah, it was banned by Hillerød. And Irelia was actually the ban. Now it is coming back to me by the side of Topaz. I mean, Draven could be open this game. Yeah, Morgana is banned, so Draven is open, something we talked about in game 1. However, with both AD carries going for more scaling options, I'm not sure if you'll see it, and if Nautilus is open, just lock in that CC bot.
Right, but at the same time, for Hillerød, if you're looking for a pressure point, it's really fantastic to just grab a Draven. Maybe not necessarily early on, although... Okay,
yeah, just first pick it.
Okay. Alright. Just prove me wrong, but you pick the Draven, it shows a clear pressure point that you want to play around. And just I mean, I guess it comes down to, do they take the Thresh as well? They are hovering the Jarvan, another early game champion, so it does look like they want to just hard commit, maybe a little over indexing as far as maybe you're hard pivoting too much, but I like to see the adaptation, at least change things up here, and the Lucian might be picked to match some of that early game.
Yeah, Lucian and Nico for King Xerath. That's his second best champion in solo queue list, and I have seen some of it in competitive, and it is good as well. Not as impressive as the Xerath, but it has still been able to manage to get some good performances. I see just a lot of early game focus from both of these teams right now. Hillerød, I think they might want to go for the support. Something like Thresh that she said is still open will most likely be banned if the support is not picked right now. Okay, well, just prove everything we say wrong. Just go for the Zed.
Yeah, and Sloth locking in another assassin, but this time he doesn't have the option to flex it around. It is going to be that Zed into the mid lane. I don't think we're gonna see top lane Zed, so pretty safe to assume it's going to be that Zed into the mid lane, and it's a assassin versus somewhat of a control mage into that mid lane there against the Nico. Very exciting to see this matchup, I would say. The Zed has a lot of kill pressure once he hits that 6 breakpoint, but Nico also very annoying to deal with, being able to auto you and also having that pop blossom at level 6 providing the shield and lockdown.
Yeah, now taking a look at the phase 2 bans, the side of Hillerød, they just ban away the top laners. Urgot, HOX, both champions that Llama likes to play from time to time, and both pretty solid in that 1v1. His Urgot last time was definitely pretty good, whereas Topaz themselves, they ban away the supports. Braum and Galio both are off the table, so some of the good answers to Nautilus are now just not there.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have the Thresh available for yourself, which is also a very flexible pick. While you can go very aggressive in the lane, you can also play very safe by taking, getting that Lantern to the Draven. And Teemo locked in here, I assume, is going to be a placeholder.
I'm not sure. Are there placeholders in CSD? Teemo is canon. Good. Okay. Yeah, there are placeholders in CSD. Yeah, because I was like, nah, there's absolutely no way Teemo is picked. So it is a canon. So we are going to be remaking the lobby after this draft in the top lane. So I see just a lot of damage and a lot of snowball now from Hillerød. You talked about the Draven being the pressure point, but it does seem like the entire team just want to commit into the identity of, alright, we're gonna go in, get some kills, and absolutely obliterate you.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of good stuff, I would say, as far as adjustments come from. Sloth will be able to play safe with the Zed. You're going to be able to farm out things. My one concern for Sloth is he got hit by quite a few of the binds from King Xerath, and if it's Nico, well, Nico also has her own bind here, so maybe Sloth has a little bit of a rougher lane phase than what we might expect, but at the same time, you're not the clear win condition on this team. You want to play more so towards that Kennen, more so towards that Draven early on. Get the Zed, farming, stay even, and then once he hits that point, he goes into the side lane, then he can really start ramping up. But we're going to be looking more so onto that side lane pressure here.
Yeah, the lobby is getting remade, of course, replacing that Teemo with a cannon. So let's take this time to just break the matchup one by one, since we will spend more time in this champ select than we would otherwise. So the top lane is going to be swaying into Cannon. Both AP champions, and Llama, he definitely likes to play his Swain, one of the champions that he plays more than the usual top laner.
Yeah, and Swain is one of those champions, mage top laners that have consistently been in that top side, but not necessarily seen in pro play. It can be very oppressive during the lane phase, but if it does fall behind, just doesn't quite find the usefulness that you might want to see from a top laner. The engage isn't quite there, and the damage also isn't quite there. Just really abusive in the lane, but can drop off quite a bit later portion.
Alright, well, next lane, or I shouldn't call it a lane, jungle. We've got Jarvan into Elise. So Shafty, last game on the Gragas, he was looking for the early ganks. He found one good early game gank, and then didn't really do a whole lot until that big cask and some minor fights in between. Now he's on a Jarvan, arguably one of the best ganking junglers in this meta. He's pretty much set up just to try and go into any lane he pleases and snowball the ever-living hell out of it.
Yeah, and the Jarvan pick is going to be incredibly important, but at the same time, you have a very early jungler in Elise. So, both of these junglers can go toe-to-toe with each other, whether or not it's in dueling potential or if it's in the ganking potential. And one of the things I do want to take note of for the side of Topaz is they've kind of over-indexed, I want to say, as far as magic damage goes. They have the Swain, they have the Elise, they have the Nico, and that could make life pretty easy for this Zed pick. He can build that Merc Treads, can build the Hex Drinker, so can be incredibly safe in those side lanes when he's trying to deal with the Swain, with the Nico.
But then I think you have to look at the flip side, because with those comps I see so much early game action that the game could as well be decided at 10 minutes if both of those teams are going to play their perfect games. Because if you get ahead on either of those team comps, like I see Elise, Nico, Lucian, any of them getting ahead is absolutely scary. But then you've got a Jarvan, Zed, Draven, even Kennen to some extent. It is pretty much the same story, and the setup is there in both the junglers. Topaz, they also have so much supplementary CC in every single lane they play that the early game action, we really need to have our eyes open for where the kills are coming through, where the junglers are going, which lanes have priority, and who's getting ahead, because even one kill can set this game off course.
Yeah, and all of these matchups, you said it before, are extremely volatile, and there are two key lanes, for each of these sides. For the side of Topaz, it really comes down to, finding finding the kills for this Lucian. You want this Lucian to get ahead here against the Draven. Of course, you also want to focus for the Draven if you're Hillerød, but it's more key for the side of Topaz to get this Lucian going, get him to that point where he deals a respectable amount of AD damage, because that's what they're lacking on their team composition. And on the flip side, for Hillerød, you want to get this Kennen going. He is your only source of big magic damage, and he's got a lot of it too. So if you can get this guy going, your team fights are going to be that much more relevant.
Alternatively, you can just go for the good old Snowball the Draven. If you can't get God Send Me some kills, cash in on those stacks together with Shafty, maybe with Sloth also joining down in this bottom lane. Then, I mean, Hillerød's the mid game is all but Hillerød's to take, and then even get some more kills onto Topaz Cannon, and then, as you said, just run through the entire lineup of Topaz. So, I mean, this game will really be about those early leads, and I feel like I will repeat that at least a few more times before we will go into the game. And it's also so important for Hillerød. Try to break the undefeated streak of Topaz so far in the CSD. Yes, it is only their third series, but they still haven't dropped a game. The first two were 2-0, they won the game 1, they are looking to take their third 2-0 series, and Hillerød, they just want to stop it.
Yeah, and it's really come down to Llama playing some of these more aggressive laning style top laners, and then as long as you can hold your own with this top lane matchup, it's about playing around the rest of the map. Nico or King Xerath has been able to play a lot of Nico and Morgana. Those are roaming style champions. Also has that incredible wave clear to just duo with your jungler to make plays happen around the map. It's not necessarily focused about getting kills onto the mid lane. It's about unlocking the mid lane to also unlock the jungler.
Yeah, however, King Xerath, last time if you remember, he was doing a great job on the Morgana, just zoning the Stealth Sekali down under his own tower. And, I mean, he can just repeat that on Nico. Your skill shots are going through the minions, so it technically could be even easier to get Sloth out of this lane. And before level 6, Zed doesn't really have that much all-in potential unless you step really close to him. Which, I mean, to be honest, both of those teams, they should be able to know how to play to maximize their matchups, so I would not be afraid. If I am King Xerath, I can definitely look for the leads in the middle lane, just throw in Genianiac's Elise into the mix, and you find yourself yet another point of Snowball.
Yeah, and this game number 2 should be heavily explosive. I don't expect this game to go to 30 minutes. If it does, I feel like something went wrong. But there's just so much lane presence, so much early power from these champions, and just into the mid game as well. It's just so hard for me to imagine a world where it does hit 35-40 minutes, because that's where a lot of these champions do drop off. But I mean, if everyone drops off, then does anyone actually drop off? That's the real question.
Yeah, and I don't think it's the one that we are really going to be able to answer within a reasonable span of time. As you said, the only way it could go into 30 minutes that I'm thinking of is if somehow 2 members get fed on each team, and then they will just be trying to fight over dominance. But, I mean, that is always unlikely to happen, because if you get ahead and you are at this level, the teams, you are just looking to snowball your other members ahead, which means that you probably cannot get the same amounts of hyper-fed members on both teams in the same game. Alright, we are going to get in this game right now. It is the second match, and I'm just slowly loading in. Hopefully no bigger game action. Alright, I am back. It does seem like both of those teams, they are going, or sorry, actually I should say here, well, they are grouping as a 5 for a counter invade, but Topaz, they aren't throwing any in.
Yeah, and we'll see just how some of this level 1 ends up playing out. Both teams wanted to go for a level 1 in game number 1, but it just kind of didn't work out too great. Although Topaz or Hillerød, they did get really good vision early on. They just weren't able to capitalize off of that.
Hillerød are playing this level 1 very cautiously. There is a Nautilus on Ahmed Ronaldo, so the level 1 potential for the CC lockdown is there, and Hillerød, it's good to see them respect that. Now, Genianiac will be looking to move into the topside jungle. That is pretty interesting, since the camps are spawning right now. He's just going for... Oh no, sorry, that was actually King Xerath. The minimap has debated me. It was this Nico all along, but anyways, he does get the ward in that I talked about, the Raptor in the first game, and it's just going to be providing some information.
Yeah, and information is the name of the game early on. You want to get information for your jungler and for your lanes. With vision of their jungler, you can always just put your jungler in positions to take advantage of that other jungler, find those invades, whether it's an invade or if it's just, you know, finding even more deeper vision.
So far, just taking a look at these lanes, Pask is getting some CSD in the top lane, but Llama getting quite a few of those never moves connecting onto the cannon, trying to sow in some damage. Godsend and Gigashock both in this ball lane, able to push in, get a level 2 first, get some CS onto this Draven. That will probably be the pattern that we will see develop.
Yeah, and just getting down a good amount of harass here. There is a good amount of kill potential, I would say, from this Nautilus Lucian in comparison to the Draven. Ooh.
Oh, flash, the root, the dredge line as well connecting. That's a flash from Gian. He gets the cocoon onto Godsend. The flash is still available for the Draven, does decide to use it. That's all summoners gone from the Hillerød bot lane, but they do survive. Ignite down to Gian. Here comes Shafty.
Oh.
The flag and drag doesn't connect. Gian still going in, and first blood picked up by Gigashock. Here comes Pass with the teleport to finish off the second, and Hillerød is striking first in this game too.
They get that first blood. Unfortunately, none of it goes on to God Sent Me. Even that last auto attack from Pugs, securing that last kill. So unfortunate that they don't get any kills for the Draven, but Draven still, he gets a lot of lane advantage here. And that's also, well, worth the exchange.
He gets the 2 assists, he gets to shoving the wave, he is backing with 800 gold, so not really the big powerful BF stars that you would sometimes see from a Draven, but double longsword, I mean, I would take it if you are Godsend Me. They do lose all of their summoners though, and Mikkel still has got his flash, so I would keep my eyes on Genialniak to see if he wants to gank this bot lane.
Yeah, this bot lane has definitely lined up for some early action. Both of these junglers are no doubt going to be looking for a play into this bottom lane, given the fact that there are missing flashes. So very easy to gank this lane. And ooh,
Flag and drop from Shafty into this middle lane. King's Dart, he doesn't have the mana, but he has got the safe position under his tower, which means that no ganks could be attempted. Now he runs out of his mana completely, so that will be the recall. He cannot contest the lane anymore against Sloth, and we are 5 minutes in. Things are definitely looking better for Hillerød Esports Academy than they were in game 1.
Yeah, the early game looks way different from last game here. Last game, we saw Shafty really struggling here. But now he is in a position where he can just gank, and the ganks are very easy to conduct as well. And especially when you don't have a flash available on a Nautilus, that can be a very easy target.
Yeah, you only have the dredge line into the wall to hope for an escape, and that doesn't always work out, especially if it can be blocked. So, as I said, you can try to return gank that. I would expect Shafty to just hit that level 6, get the access to the Cataclysm. Now he is going for a recall and then look for those ganks. I think that makes a lot of sense if you are Hillerød.
Yeah, and King's Earth is taking a good amount of harass from this Zed pick here, I would say. Although he's able to trade a decent amount back. And it will be the level 6 ticked up by the Nico, and Nico at a definite advantage in that case, as the Zed ults will bring him into range of that Pop Blossom, and Llama's just been incredibly oppressive against Pox.
landing those never moves all the time. That's a bit of poke damage, but King Zerap, he just gets chunked to half HP. That's the death. Smart pop blossom as that has been popped, still gets the stun. The ignite is down. King Zerap flashing away, misses the blooming burst. Sloth now is on the chase. The tangle bars flash away from flash forward. The slash doesn't get the kill, and Sloth, he has to go away empty-handed.
Yeah, and such a tight fight there on that tightrope. That was incredibly close. Could have gone either way. Both summoners from both
Dredge line onto God Send me. He's stunned under the tower. He takes the turret shot, and now Ronaldo picking up the kill. However, Mikkel is stuck under the turret. So is Shafty. He's taking the turret shot, and Mikkel is just going to take the kill. Lama teleporting in, trying to go in onto Gigashock. No flash for this Karma, but Lama not interested in following the chase. It's just going to be 1-for-1, I believe.
Yeah, and both top laners being incredibly decisive so far on their early teleports. We saw the teleport come in from Kennen for that early level 2 action down in the bot lane, and now we also see the response come out from Llama, just wanting to make sure this bot lane does not fall behind. Unfortunately, he doesn't get too much value out of his own teleports, but it does secure a little bit of safety for that bot lane.
Shafty able to just smite his own red buff away as there was a big invade from Topaz. Sloth has to use that Twin Shadow away to safety. And now 8 minutes in, I do have to put the focus back on the bot lane because Mikkel has been playing pretty well. He was focused down, but he stayed under the tower. He managed to survive the dive. Now has got the Bilgewater Catalyst. Let's not forget, Lucian is as much of an early pick as a Draven. It's just that he always cannot win this lane 1 versus 1 in normal circumstances.
Yeah, Lucian definitely won more so of a 2v2. Has a lot of tools to just outplay certain matchups, but it's incredibly difficult to outplay a Draven who just right clicks you, catches the axe, right clicks you again, and you're kind of just dead. So, you know, a lot less outplay potential with the dashing around, although King's Earth, ooh, fancy feat there.
His ultimate gets the stun off onto Shafty, the Guardian pops down. Here comes the death mark from Sloth. He definitely wants to get the kill, but I don't think it will be able to finish him now. He's rooted up. That's a knock up onto Juliana. He flashes forward, gets the kill, but the whirling death from God Send me secures him the kill onto Juliana. King's are trying to escape from Gigashock, and Shafty picks it up with a Dragon Strike. Now looking onto Ahmed Ronaldo, the staggering blow, passive root gets it onto the Jarvan. That's God Send me and Mikkel. Now 1 versus 1 in this jungle. That's a dash away from Mikkel, and this will be the end of that fight.
Yeah, and 229 gold claimed up by God Sent Me on that Draven passive.
Flash forward, and Ahmed Ronaldo getting the kill. I guess slightly unfortunate, but it is some more gold into Topaz's pockets anyways.
Yeah, and that's a little bit unfortunate there, but a very aggressive pathing coming out from God Sent Me, and he's going to be sent home, although they are able to claim themselves that Cloud Dragon will be able to help out some of this engage power. They don't have any hard engage on this team.
Pask is going on to Mikkel. I think he's just going to die here. There's absolutely no way he outplays that, and Pask just picks up a kill. Good teleport, good investment. I will see if Llama can't get anything up in the top lane for it.
Yeah, and that's just an overextension coming out from Mikkel, and it's kind of back-to-back blunders from both of these 80 carries. God Sent Me takes an aggressive pathing, and then Mikkel, he just overstays.
And that means that a lot of playthings going over to God Send Me and Gigashock, it will just accelerate this Draven even further. He's got the BF sword, the pickaxe, the 2 long swords. He's definitely doing more than fine right now in terms of his items. He is about 10 CS ahead of his counterpart, and overall Hillerød as a team, they managed to accrue a nearly 2,000 gold lead at 11 minutes.
I'm really interested on what this first item from God Sent Me will indeed be. Has a little bit of a mix and match there. Party bag of items. Has the BF sword, which of course builds into something like the Bloodthirster. Is that the Bloodthirster build? But he has the pickaxe.
Yeah, it could be also Bloodthirster and Storm. No, is Stormraiser with the pickaxe? I mean, there's so many items you can build into Draven, but I don't really have time to discuss the potential Draven build paths as Topaz are looking to it. Caught out in the river, actually a Jedi connecting onto Sloth. He pops down the Death Mag. That's 2 quick kills over to Hillerød.
Yeah, another cash in for God Sent Me on this Draven pick, and he seems to be finding the kills, whereas Mikhail, he hasn't been able to quite snag the killing blows himself. Has 2 assists, of course, you know, God Sent Me has 3, but it really comes down to getting the gold focused onto good targets. Making sure the gold lands onto these AD carries who have high snowballing potential, and it looks like this Draven is online.
You're gonna also get so much gold for the first tower before 14 minutes. This game, Hillerød, they are looking revitalized. They get a strong early game composition, they manage to execute upon it, and now they will be just looking to snowball it. The question that I want to focus on is how do Topaz stop them?
Yeah, we have to also keep in mind that the side of Topaz, they first picked the Nautilus with the Draven available, and even during the pregame, me and you were talking about Draven, Kai'Sa. These are going to be the priority picks, especially the Draven.
Yeah, now it is doing pretty well. It was the Bloodthirster in the end, so he has got that first item now under his belt. The Herald is alive, and Topaz, they are setting up vision around this objective. They want to be able to play around it. One place that I am looking at, though, that is pretty strong for Topaz is this top lane. Llama has been doing very well in the 1v1. Yeah, Genialniak, he might just get caught out here. Half HP, the Ignite is taking him down. Flash forward from Sloth, he really wants this kill, but it will be the Ignite from Gigashock to finish it.
A little bit of an over-index of summoners there, but, you know, you still get the kill. It will turn into that Rift Herald take, as there is no smite to contest this. This should be a big advantage going over for Hillerød, as they will be able to throw down the Rift Herald probably pretty soon if they really want to. Maybe even into this top lane, just because they have so much kill pressure from this Karma, from this Draven pick.
And just get even more gold on the Draven at this point. When you have that pick ahead, you cannot do any more wrong by giving it even more, as King Zerath is approaching Sloth, taking quite a lot of damage through those Razor Shurikens on the Nico. He did go for the early Seeker's Arm Guard, which, I mean, it's a standard choice into any AD matchup in the mid lane as the Nico. So I am not surprised about that, which means that he will be able to maybe survive some of that burst.
Yeah, the Seeker's Arm Guard is going to help out, but even then, we saw some of that harass damage really stick, and with one lethality item, with that Ghostblade finish, it will help cut down on some of the defensive abilities of that Seeker's Arm Guard. And Sloth, at this point, he's out to a 800 gold lead, which isn't tremendous, but it is a very big start for him, and even more so, it is God Sent Me with a 1200 gold lead from an AD carry perspective, and with that Bloodthirster completed, he's going to be incredibly safe yet incredibly powerful.
And 15 minutes in, Hillerød secure themselves the Mountain Drake will help them knock down those towers. When it comes as well to that, the Baron will be an easier take for that team. And I mean, they are looking pretty damn strong. They still have got the Herald though, so I am mostly just looking for them right now to use it to its fullest and just break this game even more open than it is already.
Yeah, and really all the control lies in the hands of Hillerød right now. They have a 9-4 lead in the kill score. They have a 3k gold differential. And, you know, all the gold is focused onto key members. You know, They have the advantages where they want to get them onto the Draven and onto this mid lane Zed, who now can sit into the side lane. Oh!
Ahmed Ronaldo looking for a pick, gets the dredge line connecting onto Godsemi. However, he's still alive. Finally bursted down by Mikkel. Here comes the re-engage though. Shafty pops down the Catalyst and Mikkel low on HP. The Ignite finally finishes out and they flash away. However, look at the slicing measure from Pass. He's coming in, gets the killing spree. Llama is next to follow the Pop Blossom. Bro, Llama is massive. I mean, sorry, from King Zad is massive. He picks up the double and Topaz come ahead in this fight.
And what a huge collapse coming out from Topaz. They saw that they had to kill this Draven. They saw that he was a little bit too far up there. And look at that engage range from that Nautilus. Throwing down the ultimate, forcing the flash, forcing the speed boost coming out from the Karma. But it just wasn't enough. You just flash forward, get the dredge line, and the Draven has nowhere to go. It's one of the issues with Draven. He doesn't have any outplay potential besides just killing you. His only outplay potential is death, and in that case, it just wasn't enough. And after that, the side of Hillerød, they still wanted that fight, and we saw a great flank from Pox, but it just wasn't enough to finish off the kills, and a beautiful pop blossom from King Xerath.
Now the Herald finally utilized in the middle lane. 4 members of Hillerød stacking up. It could be the end of that tower. It is on about half HP. The charge nearly takes it. Godsemi just moving forward. He tries to get in one last auto attack. The tower will be taken. So Hillerød finally able to get that tier 1 in the mid lane gone.
Yeah, and that's still the gold advantage for the side of Hillerød. So even though that was a great play coming out from Topaz, they are still ahead if it is Hillerød. So, you know, they're still in a power position, but they are just running straight down mid, trying to return that tower pressure. And if you're the side of Hillerød, it's fine to just, you know, concede a little bit of ground. You have a fair amount of wave clear from this Karma pick. You're going to be very safe here. Sloth dodging out. Very nice sidestep there. You just want to let Sloth and Pox do their thing in the side lanes right now.
And I want to just put some more spotlight onto Shafty, because this game he's having another good performance. Has participated in 9 out of the 10 kills, but I will have to hold on to that as Sloth tries to engage onto Llama in the bot lane, but he is losing HP very, very fast. Does a good flash away from the Razor of Shurikens. He's still taking out to about 300, but will survive in the end.
Yeah, a lot of healing coming out from the Swain, able to keep himself up in this fight. Sloth did have to burn his ultimate, but didn't have the ignite to finish the kill. Definitely would have gotten it if he had the ignite. It's just a little bit of mistiming there. But with the Hex Drinker, I mentioned the Hex Drinker and the Merc Treads. That makes this Zed pick incredibly safe and incredibly dangerous, because there's no resistances on this Swain pick, and that would be the side lane matchup if you're going to choose side lane matchup.
And that just brings me back to Shafty, who I tried to talk about before that engage broke out in the bot lane. He's playing a Jarvan, an engaged jungler that also has the early ganking potential. He played him pretty well so far, has participated in 9 out of the 10 kills, and now he's just stacking up those magic resistance. You said it, really, Mikkel, the only physical damage dealer on this team, and he's not tremendously ahead. So just think about how much work Shafty will be able to get done in those teamfights if he gets the proper engage.
Ooh, a nice little route there is going to be a...
Oh! Yeah, okay, well, Sloth doesn't have that much damage onto the King Xerath. Here comes the flag and drag. The slicing match over to the backline. Pass really wants to go in. The dragon will be secured by Geniac. Now he's stuck in the pit. He goes, that's a lot of damage. Turn onto Pass, because Mikkel able to pick him out the repel in the pit from Geniac. What comes up must come down as Godsemi equalizes the trade. It is going to be a 1-for-1.
Yeah, and more importantly, another cash in for this Draven. That's going to actually just turn straight over to the Baron buff, and the side of Topaz, I don't think they're expecting it. They do go through that war, so they have an inkling now, but I feel like they're just too far away.
There is the Pop Blossom, you've got the Demonic Ascension, you don't have the Smite, so you gotta take the fight if you are SRG. Topaz Baron, 4000 HP. Kingstar has joined the fray, he's trying to jump in, looking for that big HP. Pop Blossom comes down, the Baron is low, it is going to be secured by Shafty, but can Hillerød win the fight? Sloth already drops down, Ahmed Ronaldo is going to be traded back, Demonic Ascension in the middle of the pit, Llama looking to get out the damage. Gigashot flashing away, but he's still in that pit. God send me, flashing forward, he has the kill to do Mikkel, but his HP just obliterated as the Llama picking up the double.
Yeah, God sent me flashing forward instead of over the pit. Gotta question that a little bit, but I mean, at the same time, you're Draven. You want to get some of these kills, but in that case, I think it was better for them just to get as many Baron buffs out as possible. And at the very least, they are able to save the Baron buff onto this cannon, which means a lot of side lane pressure still. I believe Sloth died. I think Shafty's the other one with the Baron buff. Yes.
Yeah, I think it is Shafty and who is it? Gigashock or no?
It's just Shafty.
Oh,
and,
it is just
Pox.
Shafty. Okay.
Pox.
Yeah. Yeah, Pask, Shafty, they both get their Baron off. So there's still 2 on Hillerød. They are still ahead in gold. But I think what that fight showed really clearly is the AoE insanity that Topaz bring to the table.
Oh yeah, for sure. With the Swain and the Nico providing a lot of just zone control. Just because you are in that Baron Pit area, it's just so easy to get 5-man Pop Blossom, 5-man Swain Ultimate, Demonic Ascension. Just getting that explosion there. Sloth is going to get a little bit of a chip damage there. And yeah, right now, for the side of Hillerød, they have a lot of advantages. They just have to play this 1-3-1. I think if they play the 1-3-1, they're going to be doing great. But the side of Topaz, they're grouping as 5 and trying to force this bot lane play. But I'm not sure if you can push against that or outrace this Baron push from the side of Hillerød.
Yeah, and Pask is here to defend. Let's see if he can do anything. Topaz, they are sticking around the tower. Here comes the Whirling Death. He's gonna clear out the minions, but the tower is gone before that. It is going to be most likely traded. An inhibitor for an inhibitor. Yeah, Topaz, they could be going for the finish. The wave is there. Shorty, Pask is still defending. He's got the Slicing Maelstrom. He can't TP back to the base. The inhibitor is going to adopt Slicing Maelstrom. He's trying to go and he's just going to get deleted. Shafty has managed to complete the recall, and Hillerød, they are going for the base themselves. The first tower. Topaz, they are looking for the second. They really want to finish it. Meanwhile, in the base of Topaz, the first tower falls down. The second one, I believe, is still standing. It finally goes down. The next is Topaz. They're trying to go for the finish, and they are going to complete it. Topaz take the series 2-0.
And what a finish at the end! We see a base race after all that chaos, after all the control from Hillerød through 20 minutes at that game. They slip up, they give up a lot of kills from that Baron. They don't have enough Baron buff recalls to defend their base. And as a result, you see how decisive Topaz were. They just pull the trigger, run straight down bot lane. They outdo a Baron buff mid lane push from the side of Hillerød, and they take the series 2-0.
The streak for Topaz continues in the CSD, as he said, taking the 2-0 over Hillerød Esports Academy. And in such a great fashion. I mean, the balls to make that call. You are getting your mid lane run down with a Baron buff. You're just like, nah. We got it, guys. We can finish this game, and they can. They prove that they can. They get the Nexus, and just what a game, honestly.
Yeah, an insane game. I don't even think it's what a game. It's like, what a maddening game. Just at the end, if you're a coach, there's just really nothing you can say. It's about, hey, we committed to this play. I like the fact that we committed. And, you know, next time, hopefully things work out a little bit better. But what a way for Topaz to turn that around. They were at a gold deficit The least pick wasn't showing up this game. In fact, died a number of times. And it just came down to one fantastic late game or mid game shot call, I should say. Not quite late game at all.
Yeah, definitely no late game, and with that, I mean, Topaz, they take the 2-0. Their undefeated streak continues in the CSD. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this stream. This is something that we probably will not do regularly, just because we had no SRG matches tonight. We decided to go for the CSD. Both of the teams were happy to get themselves streamed, so thank you for joining us here on this SRG stream. If you are interested to see more of us, then feel free to follow us on Twitch. But with that, I mean, I was Kachka. My color caster has been Night Star, and we're going to wish you a good night.